This video is sponsored by Tools for Gents.
For the samurai.
For the real gents.
You're that guy, you want to spend money for a knife that you're going to use a lot.
Ja.
What knife is that in 2022? Which is going to give you the best, most knife?
Ik kan het echt gewoon visueel zien.
Look at this little branch sticking in my... Oh yeah! So today's video is going to be about which knife is the knife that you should get in 2022.
Yeah.
Price to quality ratio.
Oh,
yeah?
is it all based on price to quality ratio? I'm not sure.
In the end.
Okay.
Yeah? So we're going to cover a few things. Steel, brands, and then models like folders, but like things like, what do you think of the Bark River Gunny Scanny nowadays? Is that still the ultimate knife?
Because
After
that's
being my favorite knife for a couple of years.
Yeah, Aurora, same story.
We love different steels than we used to, and then in the end we're gonna give our verdict of which knife you should get and which you get the most for the money that you pay for it.
Yeah,
is that a correct English
Mickey,
sentence?
That is, I'm guessing from what you're saying is that is based on the type of use that we do in our videos, stuff like that.
I also want to tell people that this fallen tree that we are sitting on top of, this is our gossip tree. And we have gossip or tea to spill. We always sit on this tree and we tell all our darkest secrets. Yeah, so let's start with steels. I mean, why is this so interesting? It's because we have tested all these old school steels this year.
Yeah.
And I can remember that when we, I think it was the Top Storm Vector.
Yeah.
And when we used that knife and we cut through a bloody pen, a steel pen. The knife would cut paper as if it were nothing, and I didn't even know that that was possible.
That was so stable. That edge. Yeah.
So that's when my
Mickey,
love for old steels also kind of returned. My love for 1095 has increased by tenfold maybe this year.
Yeah.
Because of that one video.
Yeah.
Martin, what steel would you choose if like a serious survival situation and you know, okay, I only have this knife. I only have this steel. I might need to pry open stuff. I don't want to use my knife.
Okay, but what is the type of like scenario, or is it just like it could be every scenario? It's just your survival knife that is always in your car or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. You know what, Martin? Let me rephrase it. You have a knife, one knife.
Yeah.
And you can do everything with it. You don't want to worry about your knife.
Yeah.
But if you want to do hard use, like cracking open something that is, it needs to be cracked open.
Yeah.
You just don't want, you want a no compromise knife. And I'm not just talking about survival. I'm just talking about that one knife that can do it all. I'm talking about that steel.
Yeah.
Which steel would you put in that knife?
Still, man, CPM3. Look, when you say the things you say, the thing that comes into my head is Becker BK2.
Yeah.
The things that comes into my head is Tereva Yakai Puko.
Ooh.
Because these two knives are indestructible. But I would trust CPM3V with my life because, you know, I've stood on it, did crazy stuff with it, pried with it. Just, for me, it has that balance. Like, I know it can stay sharp really long, but I can also, I wouldn't not dare to pry. If I have a Bravo 1 CPM3V, I would still stick that between a door and try to pry it.
Really?
Maybe a little bit less carefree than a Becker BK2.
But I would say that CPM3V is not like the top of the super steel chart.
No, but it is one of the toughest.
Yeah, and that is what my point was with that, like the top 10 steels, is that it is just a steel that you can really fall back on. Just no compromise. That feels like a safe spot. But
I would say CPM3V is...
CPM3V, it might be the starting point of super steels.
Yeah. And what's your opinion on ADC or V2? Like Tereva?
Yeah. I would also say maybe those three.
Yeah.
And that is very strange because two of those three are not super steels.
Yeah.
And we are super steel nerds.
Agreed.
Okay, but then, let's go to a brand. Yeah?
Yeah.
And I mean, if we think of price to quality ratio.
Yeah.
Velknieven is just price and quality.
Yeah.
Not price to quality.
Yeah.
Bark River I still don't know if I can trust them for 100% putting out the same quality as that they did a few years ago.
Yeah, but back in the days, it was, for me, it was like
Yep.
the ultimate in terms of what you get for the price.
But what is this? What is the title of this video?
Yeah.
Best knife for 2022.
Yeah,
Something like that.
Yeah.
Then we have Mora.
Yeah,
Set
Mora
the
is
best price
crazy.
to quality ratio. Well, I have to say there are a lot of knives that have come out also from Chinese brands that actually really compete very well with the Mora with a real convex. Where the Teravia Yakari Puko is, maybe it is a Garber killer and it is cheaper.
Yeah.
I don't know how you make
And
a
it's
knife
even made
that good.
in Finland. Condor Terrasauer was also one of these crazy cheap, yet very good knives.
What brand comes to mind? I wouldn't say that Mora is on top of the bill for price to quality ratio. Yeah, if you're talking about a knife that is 15 euros maybe, $15,
Yeah.
they're still on the top.
Everyone who starts out with Bushcraft get a Mora.
Yeah, that is like nobody should be living in this world without a Mora.
Yeah.
I would say maybe the Tereva is still on top
Yeah,
for me.
they are just crazy. Even with the price increase that they did last year, it is still among the best. And Mickey, in the higher end spectrum of price to quality, I think there are price to quality. I think there are also some very good examples. You know, Benchmade is in general not a cheap brand, but when you think about like the Benchmade Puko or the Leuku,
Yeah.
these were around 140, 150 euros
Yeah,
and
that's
dollars,
great.
and for CPM 3V, that is
That is the go-to
that
CPM
is
3V knife.
that is crazy. And then
100% the go-to CPM 3V knife.
yeah, and then Lion Steel.
yeah.
Not this one. This one is a Sleipner, but you have the M5 or the M4. I mean, in M390 steel, which is also around 140 euros. So those are still really good bargains for super steels.
So what brand wins here?
Knowing that the Teravia Yakari Puko is like somehow a little bit like the little brother of the Becker BK2, you know, in some ways.
Yeah.
Yet it is a more effective knife in terms of design
Yeah.
than the Becker BK2. I would say that is like the cheapest knife that I would really depend my life on.
Yeah. You know what? We have done everything in that video to break that knife.
In that
It
one
did
video,
not break.
I asked the guys, can you send us a Teravia Yakari Puko? And the goal of the video is to break it.
Yeah.
And it didn't end up breaking.
No.
It would put us in danger to break it.
Next,
Yeah.
a model. Folders. We've been testing
Yeah.
out folders a lot now. Is there a folder that comes to mind that you maybe actually advise to the people above a fixed blade? But I'm also talking about EDC. I mean, EDC
Yeah.
played a much bigger role. I can show you again. I'm not talking about my little Willy. I'm talking about this. Yeah.
But
The Falcon
yeah.
TK3.
But in terms of preparedness, yeah.
Yeah.
If I would carry an EDC with preparedness in mind as well, I wouldn't pick either of the Falcon folders that we currently carry. For me, one of the best EDCs out there is the Benchmade Bug Out. And I know, because of our testing, that I could baton with that.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't strain it as much as a fixed blade, of course.
No.
But if I would be careful, I would have faith that that knife can pull me through some harsh situations while it is light and small enough that it doesn't bother me to carry it always. The best survivor knife is a knife that you have with you, which I still don't agree on. It could be that knife.
I gotta say, I have this knife with me every single day, and I really live by the words of if you're not always prepared, you're never prepared. Even though they are nerd words, but what was that guy's name?
You guys take care, be safe out there, and remember, if you're not always prepared, you're never prepared. Thanks.
A folder you can always
Yeah.
have with you, and that bug out you can always have with you. And
Exactly.
if you strand in a nasty situation, you do have that with you, and you can use it very hard.
That quote actually really reminds me of, you know, when a soldier always has to check, or everybody who's carrying a weapon, if they are going to put it away or whatever, always make sure it is unloaded.
Yeah, with
Even
every
if
step,
even if you know it is unloaded, check if it is unloaded. You know, because that just at one time that you need your knife or you
Yeah.
accidentally pull that trigger, and it's gonna be in there.
You know what? I think my answer is going to be the Benchmade bug out.
Yeah, for me too.
For this
Yeah.
model.
I agree with you. My love is mostly for the smaller knives, but since the start, you know, you had the F1, I had the A1.
Yep.
I think if I would carry a knife for when shit hits the fan or whatever,
Yeah.
I would go for something this size.
Oh, whoa.
You know,
Big man.
because-
Big man. Compensation, Martin.
Yeah, it is compensation purely,
Yep.
nothing else.
Yep. But this is like if you go for a survival situation, but you're not. I mean, we're advising people what knife to buy in 2022, and I can't really advise them if you're on a budget and you have to buy one knife that can literally do it all.
Yeah.
If you've got the money, yeah, of course go for Apocalypse.
Yeah.
But
I would say,
I can't recommend a knife for 400 euros that you
No,
cannot
it's-
really be able to carry every day, not even legally.
in those terms, I would say, if you're on a budget, get a quality small knife
Yeah.
and buy a cheap chopper.
Do you know what knife I might recommend as well?
What?
Maybe just as much as the bug out. The
folders?
Bushcraft Ultralight from Bar
Oh,
River.
yeah.
I don't know if
So,
they
whoa.
still are available.
They're still making it.
The Bushcraft Ultralight is that knife that you can carry every day. Maybe not on your belt anywhere in the world, but it is that knife that you can carry with you, which is cute, but still extremely sturdy. It has CPM
It's so
3V.
small.
Oh my God, it is. I absolutely forgot about how good
Yeah,
that
yeah,
knife
yeah,
is
yeah,
for its size.
Same with the Bravo EDC that I have. It is just a small, bigger than that. But you know, those are the tiny knives that can do batoning and stuff much better than what folder.
With the size, it still fits in your bag. It is
Exactly,
It
yeah.
doesn't actually scare people. It is too small to stab someone. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like you would use that for an itch. And now, Martin, it has CPM 3V
Yeah.
or Cruwear.
Yeah,
We're getting somewhere.
It literally is like, that is a brilliant knife. That is a brilliant knife.
Shit, how expensive is that knife now?
It's around $250.
Okay, so it is 224 euros.
Dollars,
The
yeah.
it is $224, the cheapest one.
But a Benchmade bug out is around that same price class as well.
Yeah. Then I think we have to go to the conclusion. So I think we have got like a few winners of this. The Yakari Puko,
Yeah.
the Benchmade Bug Out, and the Bark River Ultralight. I would say we're talking about the knife that you can just buy one knife now in 2022, which is the knife that you get the most for your money, and you can use the most.
It's
It
not
is like
specific
for everything.
Yeah, it's not specifically best in everything. It is just like the best all round.
Jack of all trades,
Yeah,
master
exactly,
of none.
exactly.
Jack of all trades, master of none. Yes. You're that guy, you want to spend money for a knife that you're gonna use a lot.
Yeah.
What knife is that in 2022? Which is gonna give you the best, most knife?
Yeah, man. I would still say, for me, is the Terrain Yakari Puko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
You know,
really doubting between the Bark River Ultralight,
Yeah, but
Bushcrafter,
you know
and the
what?
other one.
That knife is a brilliant knife.
Mm-hmm.
It literally is a brilliant knife, and it is one of the knives that you have that I'm jealous of.
Yeah.
But, you know, for also a lot of stuff that you would regularly do with a knife, it is nice to have a bit more extra length. You know, it is not, of course the ultralight is better for EDC.
But you don't use, if you buy a Yakari Puko, you're not gonna take it to work.
No, but
And you might,
that's true.
might take you might be using the
But-
Bushcrafter more.
That is absolutely true, but if you buy the knife for the purpose of doing stuff with it also around the camp and not just only EDCing it, then the Yakari Puko is just gonna be the more usable knife, in my opinion.
Okay, so can I say this then?
Yeah,
I'm gonna kind of cheat in my own game.
okay.
I would say, if you wanna use it every day and you live in the city, yeah, and you want that one knife
Yeah.
that you can also use in the city,
Yeah.
but also
Then-
where you go camping,
Then it's gonna be ultralight.
the Bushcrafter Ultralight.
Yeah.
If you want that, if you're more forest focused
Yeah.
and you don't really care about a knife in the city,
Or if you're a soldier, I think the Trevia Carapuco also shines
Listen,
there.
I mean, you can expect with Finland now joining NATO, every soldier is gonna carry a damn Carapuco, and we're gonna be very dangerous as an army. No, but I mean, these knives are amazing. I would just say if you're more forest-based, outdoor-based,
Yeah, the Carapuco.
go for the Carapuco. And if you're more like also city-based,
Yeah.
I also think that the Bushcraft, the ultralight, is going to be the better
It
carver.
is
it's going to be the better precise carver.
Definitely.
I said it.
And the ultralight is going to be better in everything than a folder, except for portability. Yeah. And maybe, of course, a folder might even scare people less. I don't know.
Yeah. But I think these are the two winners.
Yeah, it's strange because when we started this video, I was definitely not even thinking about a Bushcraft ultralight.
No, me neither. Me neither. It was just suddenly at the end, and I thought, by golly, that's a good idea.
And you know, there are tons of good knives out there at this. You know, 2022 is a good time to live for knives. We have brilliant steels, brilliant knives. There are a lot of good choices. There are also a lot of wrong choices. But do your research, find the perfect knife for you. But this is our recommendation.
And strop it with the DBK compound. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you like this video. Another podcast of DBK on the gossip tree. And I hope...
This is going to be a thing. This is going to be the gossip tree, and now for videos as well.
Yeah, indeed it is. If we got juicy gossip about the knife world, it's going to be handled over here.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, hope to see you again 1 p.m. PDT every Thursday. So also next Thursday, please,
Like and hit that subscribe button, because the subscribers are growing really slow.
Definitely get the DBK compound. Why? I want to buy a house. I want to buy a house.
Hey.
Yep.